Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Underground Runaround. I'm your host, Brad Ross, here with our co-host, Pav Denny, and our newsman, Brett Common Solely. Pav, how you doing, sir?
Doing good, man.
Hell yeah, Brett. And yourself, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. It's been a good week.
Good week, why? Elaborate. Explain yourself.
I mean, I've been anxious for this Wander card to sell, man. It's on Golden and
it's the week.
Saturday night. I'm getting kind of like
Brett,
excited, anxious.
I know you're doing this on your phone, but can you send me a link?
I got a link right here.
If you can send me a link in the chat of this thing or in my messenger, wherever you can send it.
Yeah, I'll do it to Messenger.
Yeah. That way I can put it in the YouTube feed.
It's crazy, man. And if you get on Golden, you should pull that up and show some people. There's some cards on there.
Will.
There's a Lewis Hamilton on there. I think it's like not 280,000 bucks. It's insane. You know what's funny? That one's a PSA 7. The Lewis Hamilton Superfractor.
I did see that.
And people were like, like that 8's gonna kill your card. Dude, nobody gives a crap. Like,
no, it's a 101.
It's a 101.
Is that from the Sapphire boxes?
I don't. Let me hear. I've got it right here. It's
I think it is.
It's the most viewed 2020 Topps Chrome. It's the Chrome Superfractor.
Okay.
And it's PSA 7. It's got 25 bids, 280,000 bucks. But if you got a little cruising time, man, get on Golden's website and just check out some of the items. But the one thing that I like is I was getting worried, like, is this card going to get some bids? Is this Wander going to get some bids? It's on the top 4 viewed cards of like the most viewed on their list, so people are looking at it.
They're waiting for it. Pav, you got the boys behind you. They're in the
boys.
show now. They're a part of it. Put a headset on them. Let's go. It's time to win baseball.
Want that. You definitely don't want that.
So yeah, Brett's Wander is up to 8,200 right now, which is 98.40 with the buyer's premium. There's a YouTube video for it. There's a Wander 21 Bowman Sterling Superfractor up at 1,500. The 101 Baseball Stars autograph is up, I see, too.
Yeah, there's some pretty good Wander stuff on there.
Heritage Minor League Bazooka card. That's a pretty badass card. We'll show you guys the stuff here in a little bit. You know what? While we're talking about it, let's just do it now. Show you guys what we're doing here at the beginning of the show. I was wanting to get some links out there, but we went straight to this. So no links for anybody. Nobody's going to know we're doing this.
I tell you what, too, man. Wander's playing some good ball as well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So far, I'm eating my words on that one.
So there we go.
And
here is Brett's Wander. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. What's that corner look like? It ain't even
that one's
bad.
good. It's the bottom right one that's the one that got.
It's not even that bad, man. I mean, I can see a speck on it, but
it's not terrible. But like, when I looked it over underneath, that I didn't go into detail too much when we were on that first time before it was graded. But like when I put it underneath the magnifying, there was a lot of like just surface issues with it, and the foil around the edges of the card. It's a foil card.
Gets tough, right?
So it was a typical foil where.
Still, it's a beautiful card though.
I think if it wasn't for that corner, like it was significant in terms of like you notice it, if in person especially. You would notice it. I think if it wasn't for the corner, they probably would have gave it a 9. But
it's a beautiful card. Man.
It's a cool card.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, did you see the Monster Daddy was pulled this week from a Walgreens pack? The 2022 Series 1 Wander.
I did.
I believe it was a fat pack too.
I did.
It's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Brett's auction, what time does this end? It ends at 9 p.m. Saturday.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Central Time for us, because that's what I'm looking at, so I have to assume that means Central Time. So you have to adjust for whatever time zone you're in. Pav, you don't have the link up. I wonder, Pav's in the Eastern Time Zone.
Yeah, and then I read into detail on the bidding process, and somebody passed along some info that if there's a bid within the last 30 minutes, that the time's extended, and everybody who's bid on the card gets an email and has an opportunity to bid again.
Extended bidding, yeah.
Extended bidding. So, I mean, who knows how long it's going to go.
Yeah, it could go for a while if
I hope it
if
goes
things
all
are
weekend.
going well. We have quite the character with us tonight on the show. A new future YouTube star, perhaps. I don't know, but he's too busy giggling like a little schoolgirl to really hone in on whatever talent he may or may not have.
So what do you guys think on the Wander then now?
I'm still to the moon, dude. I'm still to the moon with it. He's playing good ball right now. It's a huge contract. I mean, this is as good as it gets. It's literally as good as it gets. It's the card. You know what I mean? It's the card.
Yeah, I'll bet someone's gonna resell it within a year.
Sure. I mean, what that douchebag Vegas Dave did that. What he keep that Trout Super for 2 years? Bought it for like 400,000, sold it for $2 million. Yeah, so if Wander does good, then yeah, maybe. But I think Brett's doing the right thing by selling. But that's because the impact it's gonna have on him now is going to be, it's what you want. Do you want the world? If you want the world for it, you hold it in hope. And if anything goes bad, it's not going to be good, So you're taking a sure thing. Really, is all you're doing right now is by selling it now is taking a sure thing. So I love it. Excuse me. What else? What else going on? I really don't want to give gold. You know what? I'm not. I'm sorry. If you want to know what's going on Golden, go fucking look on Golden's website. All I'm here to do is try and help my buddy Brett. I don't know much about Golden. I don't know much about Ken. You hear conflicting reports. I don't know the guy. There's my email. Fantastic for you guys. I didn't mean to do that. How do I turn this shit off? There we go. So
Someone says he can win MVP this year. I mean,
yeah, there's a comment. We are live for the audio people that hear this down the road, which I don't think you will because the download numbers, the podcast numbers in general, I'm not going to bullshit anybody. They've been terrible. So nobody likes to hear what we have to say. Well, the people that do really like it. I mean, we do well. We started on this trajectory, and I was hoping it would continue to go, and it's just cooled off. It's not a big deal. People are out doing shit, living their lives. But the people that love the show, we get messages every week.
Who's your guys' MVP in the AL so far?
Well, we're not talking about that. Don't even fucking joke. What are you doing? Jumping the gun. Early. We're still talking about hobby shit. This guy's like, who's the MVP? White Sox fans already quit watching their fucking team, and you want to talk about who the MVP is?
Freaking trash fire.
Oh my gosh. They got good for 1 year, you know what I mean?
Dude.
White Sox people. Settle down.
I'll
get all your players back.
Hey.
And if that team doesn't win the division, it's a dump.
Cincinnati's going to lose 100 games, dude. They're going to lose. They're not going to win another game all year. It's over.
It's over.
It's over. Rest of the year, they're losing every single game. They can't
hilarious. Win. That is hilarious.
Oh.
Who knows? Who knows, man? Hobby-wise, though, what else do we got? Don Russ Baseball comes out Friday. It's I actually love Don Russ Baseball for what it is. It's a fun product. It's fun. It's a fun personal rip. You're not gonna pull any 101 golden cards out of it, but you can have a ton of fun with it. Tons of short prints and variations, but they're not short prints, and they're not rare. Just a lot of little fun stuff to do if you're into actually looking at cards. The problem is more than half the people that probably are in the sports card space don't even look at the cards. They just want to know who it is and if it's worth money. No, I wonder if we took a poll somehow, if we could survey people, how many sports card people actually sit down and look over the cards, read what's on the back, look at them. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder. Because I would say it's probably somewhere around 50-50. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that we see in social media. Because I would think some of those people might not even be on social media. They might be the old school card show guys and just the older school crowd that might actually sit down and like actually still care about common cards and things like that. Because not a lot of people even, you don't even see people posting it very often anymore about buying commons. You used to see that quite a bit, even a few years ago. Like, people would want anything.
When's the last time either of you did a show?
It's been a couple months for me. I'm going on the first Saturday of May. I'm going back. I just didn't have anything worthwhile going, so now I got some stuff and I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while, just because it's not the way I operate. It's just not worth my time.
What the hell's going on with this freaking market? Why are we seeing singles cool off while freaking wax is going insane, but nobody's buying it? Nobody's buying the freaking wax. There's the basketball on Topps website, not even sold out. They got to be shitting a brick.
I'm surprised about that, actually.
Not at all.
It's a cool looking product.
Nobody's shitting the brick.
I don't know.
It's hot potato. That's all it is right now. Who's going to get caught with the biggest load of wax when the fucking hobby implodes on itself? I think is what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're all just sitting on wax. Nobody's selling it.
The Bowman prices? Oh my God. I got the press yesterday. I got told the rest of my numbers from the last company I was waiting to hear from. I got told what I was getting allocated and what I could buy more for. Shit's not even out yet, but but I can buy more at an extremely elevated price rather than just, allocating it like I think you're supposed to. I don't know. I had a talk with one of my people yesterday. I just fucking had a bad day. But it's bad, man. So Bowman 2022 Spring Bowman Hobby and Jumbo. We can't talk about regular hobby because there's no comparable format to any of the other two key Bowman releases, being Chrome and Bowman Draft. There's no other one auto per box format, but you can compare a Jumbo Bowman box almost directly to a Bowman Draft Jumbo box. They're both 3 autograph hobby boxes. And these are going to come out of the gate on the retailer website somewhere between $800 and $900 a box. And while that might not seem crazy to football and basketball guys, that's fucking insane to baseball people. Absolutely fucking insanity. You're talking $600 to $7,500 for a case. A case. Like, what? What? That's like almost twice the price that most any other Bowman release comes out of the gate at. Like, so here's the thing, and here's my big bitch, and I'm going to be perfectly honest right now. I don't even want to do the Bowman write-up that we usually do. I don't want to do it. I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm put off. I am not happy. I'm not a prospect guy in general, so I have very little. If I'm not going to be breaking a ton of the product, what fucking interest do I have in spending 10 to 20 hours doing a legitimate full-on research report on these kids? I don't give a shit. Like, put it on the record. I don't care. Because here's the problem. If Bowman is that expensive coming out of the gate, either it's going to plummet after release, which is what I think has to happen. I don't know if it will. That's what I think has to happen, so I'm not buying any additional. I'm waiting. Just going to wait and watch the prices, see what happens. If it gets to a price I like, then we'll talk. And I might buy fucking 100 cases of it. We'll see. Something's got to make sense to me. And right now it makes no sense. So either it plummets or it continues to go up. And if it continues to go up, that means the single prices of these top guys have to sell for more than what the single prices of every other top prospect and every other Bowman release sells for out of the gate. And if that is the case, then you go back and you find any other fucking prospect from any other recent Bowman release that you like and you believe in, and you go buy all their singles. Because they'll be cheaper than the guys coming out now, and the only way they'll be able to justify the guys coming out now and their price points is because of the wax price, which is already bullshit to begin with. This shit was not $800. Like, does that make sense? Am I like
No,
clearly?
it's crazy.
So
It's crazy.
well, I mean, do you understand the argument I'm making? Like, if Bowman 2022 Bowman wax prices stay the same or go up, that means the singles are going to have to be more valuable than some of these other prospects, irregardless of their skill level. So I think if the wax stays where it's at, you go buy other prospects. You don't even fuck with 2022 Bowman. Let it sort itself out.
And what I'm saying is that the singles market isn't there to support the price of wax.
I agree. The only way the wax goes up is if the singles market can support it, is what I'm saying. If by some miracle the singles market does justify it, I don't even know who the number one Bowman guy is going to be. If that De La Cruz from the Reds or whoever, if they sell for whatever the top guy's supposed to sell for, $1,000, $2,000 a base autograph, you got a fucking problem. Like a gigantic problem. If that's what it sells for, then you better go buy first Bowman Vladdies. Anything. You can go get a first Bowman Vladdy for like $3K still. I mean, it's not untouchable. But that's where you should go spend your money if you're going to go play this fucking stupid ass game I think we're about to have to play. And I don't think it will. I'm just saying that's the only logical way the wax price can stay the way it's going to stay. And if that happens, there's going to be way better buying opportunities for different prospects, different products. There's a spider crawling on my wall. Timeout. From the
You pussy.
he got into my drop ceiling, so I'm about to get mugged before this podcast is over. I tried to get him. That didn't happen. I don't know.
I was going back and looking at some prices. I don't think I got any hobby boxes on Topps, but blaster boxes last year of the gate were $30 on Topps website. But at $350 a box for a hobby box of Bowman, that's ludicrous. I just refuse to pay that. It's just, that's why last night, I mean, I sent you guys that link, and I'm like, I'm buying 24 blaster boxes from Walmart for $32 a piece. I just refuse to buy a hobby box at that price.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they're already like on DealerNet getting bought and sold. You can buy them for $350 on DealerNet, and that's behind the scenes. There's people offering money, but there's only been one case that's sold so far since it's been put into action by like another dealer behind the scenes, so to speak. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that and actually watching how much product actually moves. It's one of the few places you can actually somewhat tell how much moves, but you have to stay on top of it. It shows you like the last 3 completed sales. So if you note all these sales, you can kind of get an idea of how many cases or boxes are selling a day or every couple days.
I've been kind of cruising eBay a little bit, and I think base cards are definitely down. Everybody's been ragging base cards, but I've been looking at some bigger cards just to maybe grade, and like for example, Jeremy Pena's blowing up for the Astros, right? And I was pulling up. I mean, his singles prices are going crazy, obviously, but like a green shimmer autograph just sold for $580 of his. A green shimmer out of 99. That's a huge number. I've been watching some Wander Golds, out of 20 Series 1, and they're selling between $400 and $500. There's good sales, but it's on the hotter, bigger guys. I think people are really just starting to kind of pick and choose what they're buying, and they're going with bigger stuff that they can grade.
I'm gonna sell Anthony Rizzo. It looks like.
Yeah. Leading the league in home runs right now.
It's time. I'm looking at his stuff right now on eBay, and it's higher than it's been in years.
Well, then I should probably do that then.
Hey, man.
I have some decent Rizzo stuff.
I have a 2011 Topps Finest, the X Factor.
I have one too.
I have a BGS 10.
I have a. Is it just an X Factor or an auto?
It's the auto.
Yeah, I got one. I think mine's a 9.5.
A 9.5 just sold for $300.
Oh, that's way more than I paid for it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so they were $100.
Yeah,
they were
pretty.
Just in the winter.
I probably paid around $100 years ago, though. Yeah. Years ago.
Yeah, so I have a BGS 10 because I upgraded from a 9.5 to a 10.
I just bought a Cognac Rizzo, 40, 45. I have a Cognac PSA 10 Rizzo. Oh, I also have the Diamond Anniversary Parallel PSA 10 Rizzo. Yeah. I love those cards. I love that 2011 set.
I'll tell you, one of the biggest mistakes was...
shout out to Lance Jones, by the way, who's dropping that comment on us.
Brett, have you ever been to Bricks and Ivy in...
Hoopston, right?
Yeah.
I've heard really good things, and I grew up in a small town in Central Illinois, and I have a couple guys from my hometown that are collectors, and they've been over there for multiple, like, to get Cubs autographs of World Series ball that they needed. Yeah, because Zobrist was there.
Everybody's been there.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Mike Montgomery was there with Chris Coughlin, and Matt Caesar was just there, and so he does a really good job. Bob Brown shout out to Bob Brown, is the owner operator, and I mean it's a wonder. It's out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and tiny Hoopston, nothing else around, and here's this badass freaking sports card store. But he had an Anthony Rizzo, Hope Diamond?
Yeah, I just didn't pull the trigger on
it. Yeah, we fucked that up. And he had. I
remember Pav being in the shop, texting me about it, and I'm like, "Hey, ask him if he'll take whatever." Like I was like trying to buy the card like proxy because he sent me a picture of it.
He seriously only wanted like fucking like $750 or something at the time.
Yeah, I want to say.
I was so honest with Bob. I was like, Bob, I'll bet you can get freaking $2,000 on eBay right now. And he's like, I think so. And I'm like, man, it's just that market is, and then he sold it on eBay. So I fucked up on that one.
Yeah, no joke.
I've done it a couple times with Bob's place. He had a 2017 Topps Update case when Cody Bellinger got hot, and like it was an unopened case, and he wanted nothing for it because it wasn't worth crap,
right?
And then all of a sudden Bellinger gets hot, and it exploded, and it was worth like 3 times what he had on it. And I walked in there, and I'm like, "Hey, Bob, dude, what's up with that 2017 Topps Update?" And he's like, "Oh man, yeah." He ended up changing the price the next time I was in there, but I didn't buy it. I'm too honest about that shit sometimes. But if you want to sell me your stuff for 120% of what it's worth, I'm your guy.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. It's probably what's going to happen in this Mountcastle purchase I made. Who knows?
But no, yeah, I think it's time to. Because you and I know how far does Rizzo go? Can he be a Hall of Famer? I think it's getting a little bit out of reach for him.
Not with that fucking short porch and left, boy. And right. Oh my goodness, he's gonna hit 100 home runs in Yankee Stadium.
He'd have to hit 40 of a few times.
He's gonna hit 40 home runs this year.
He'd have to do it like 3 years in a row, man.
Well, he's doing it this year. It's already
locked. If he did that, then people would start.
Rizzo never hits in April. I wonder what his career average is in April. Yeah. So for him to have
terrible
8 home runs and 18 RBIs already, he's gonna have just a monstrous year.
Here, I'll tell you right now. Here we go.
People might not think that I'm being serious right now. I am being dead fucking serious.
I know he's terrible. He's
32.
Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. April, March. He's a 240. This is career numbers. 243 hitter. Okay, in April and March. May 282. June 271. July 273. August 276. September, October 264. April 243. Does not hit at the beginning of the year. Never has. So, and I think like it's a big advantage for him, obviously. If he can get some of those short porch home runs, it's gonna hop his freaking average up. So, I think I don't know, man. I think it's a good time. That stuff, 3 times Yankee effect. It's the Yankee effect, and he's hot. So,
Yeah, that's
You know
short
what?
porch.
I think I could hit one out of that porch down the line.
You already know it.
well, when he had the 3 home runs, and that's what we were talking about earlier. What's the website? The Twitter? Would it?
Would it dong? D-O-N-G.
So like I went and looked there, and the 1 home run was only a home run in 2 out of 30 stadiums, and the other was only 4 out of 30 stadiums. So 2 of those home runs for friendly Yankee Stadium for you. But I think it's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him.
Got him cheap and perfect for that stadium. Did you guys see that Jock Peterson big fuck you pussy? Did you see at the Brewers game? Did you guys see that?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, dude, he was in the box. He stepped in the box. He was getting ready to hit, and somebody from the Brewers yelled at him. They had to be close because there was a lot of people at that game. And he literally stepped out of the box and looked at him. And he just clutches up and hits a bomb. Runs, comes back in, and they have him on hot mic. If you guys get a chance, watch that video after this. And
oh my gosh.
he looks at him, he's like, that was you. He's like, fuck you, pussy, to the fan. He goes to the dugout. It was classic, man. I mean, talk about the biggest pimp job ever. That was awesome.
Yeah, he hit a few home runs this week. Sorry, I was just trying to get some links out there. Let the people know what we're doing. Oh yeah, Jock's been doing some things. I do have I kind of been making those silly picture things you guys have been seeing. Every day, just basically like whatever the big storyline was from the day before. So like the first one I did was the athletics attendance. Did we talk about that at all last week, or was that just a recent thing? The athletics attendance for that Orioles series was just atrocious, absolutely atrocious. It's no good. The second game of the series, they only drew 27,003 people. 2,703 people was the attendance. People can get shitty, and the Oakland fan base can get upset, and I don't understand why they would. They should be mad with their owners, but they're like, yeah, that's the attendance, like, look at this stadium and blah blah blah, and they only have 2,000 people in, but it says they have a paid attendance of 20 grand. Well, yeah, that means people still bought those tickets, like whether they showed up or not. Nobody's even buying athletic tickets right now. They said the season ticket prices have doubled since 2019. Inflation hasn't doubled since then. What's going on in Oakland? That stadium's just a disaster of endless foul territory and nothing charming about it. I mean, I wonder how many minor league stadiums are better. I bet all of them is the answer. And guess what? They could all hold the amount of people that Oakland's currently bringing into their stadium. So, it's they have just a gigantic problem on their hands over there. And on the flip side of the ownership issues and the stadium battle and the team struggle, Christian Pache was out there doing some good things with the kids this weekend. Got some Twitter pictures, signing a bat for the kid, giving the kid a bat for no reason. It looked like it was totally like unsolicited. It's just like, hey man, thanks for coming out to the game because there's only 7 of you fuckers here. Hey, come get a bat, dude. Come be a part of this. That kid will never forget that shit. You know what I mean? Regardless of what Pache does the rest of his career, that kid is going to remember that he's gonna be sitting in a bar one day when he's 40, going, man, when I was a kid, there was this fucking slick field and center fielder, Pache. You know what I mean? He's gonna be telling the story. It's super awesome. That's what baseball's all about. Fuck all this business and this attendance and all this other nonsense. That's what you love to see it. You love to see it. I think they each have the same Twitter picture. You know, it's pretty cool. You got a little thing going on. That's awesome. So that's about all I got for Oakland. Miguel, go ahead.
How much do you think a Christian Pache Bowman first auto is going for these days?
Nothing. Who cares? 2018 Bowman. I can tell you that though. That's what it is.
That he was one of the big hits.
2018 spring Bowman. Yeah, Andrew Jones, or somebody said he was better than Andrew Jones. So I think Andrew Jones said it. Somebody said that was the comparison. He's going to be better than Andrew Jones, and Andrew Jones is arguably a Hall of Fame caliber player. You know, in my opinion, the glove only doesn't count if it's bad. Like
he'd be great in this league.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The whole league is basically what, dude. He had a 62 WAR.
He had a fantastic fucking career.
He hit 51 home runs.
Yeah. Well, how many career total did he have?
434.
That's enough. That's enough. How many Gold Gloves did he win?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight.
Yeah. What are we doing here? How's he not in the Hall of Fame? 10 straight Gold Gloves at outfield, which means not only did he have to be better than the one guy playing center field, all the fields. Like, that's a outfield award. Like, that's not a, you know what I mean? Like, that, you got to be top 3 amongst everyone, not just the best guy playing second base. The outfield Gold Gloves are a little more impressive to me than anywhere else for that reason. Not to diminish any of the other Gold Gloves, but there's just a bigger pool of competition for the outfield Gold Glove. 10 straight in a row, that's dominance. That is a decade of defensive dominance to go along with 430, however many you said, home runs. What? But fucking Harold Baines is in that son of a bitch?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I think Andrew Jones just made it look too easy. Like,
yeah,
he was
that's
so
not
good.
his fault. Right, I know what you're saying.
In the media, they don't like him. I don't know why. I always liked Andrew Jones. The dude is a stud.
It's not about being a media darling. It's about who's the best.
Exactly. And I don't know why they won't, you know.
It's the same reason David Ortiz is in, because he's a media darling. He's a proven cheat. He's a cheater.
It's I don't know.
I like David Ortiz, and I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but so should all the other cheaters.
Why isn't you could ask that question about a lot of guys. Why isn't Dale Murphy in?
Ooh, Dale Murphy, fun fact, played catcher and center field. Not too many people do that.
I mean, you think about
I don't know Dale Murphy's career numbers, to be honest with you. I know he was a fantastic big leaguer.
It's pretty similar to Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
But
probably a little less power. Lots of good glove work.
398 home runs. Had some Gold Gloves. Had 2 MVPs.
Yeah. Ooh.
So it's but Harold Baines is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Makes sense.
Fucking average DH. That's what makes it so bad. He didn't even play defense, and all these fucking defensive wizards are not in. Like, come on. Defense is a big part of the game. A little less now, because all the strikeouts, but it's still huge.
Strikeouts and shifts. You don't have to be as good at baseball anymore. The defense part.
Right, they can put you in a better position to succeed.
It's pretty interesting, it's become more like basketball, where it's like let's get these freak athletes and put them out there, and that's been what baseball's been becoming. You get these big giant athlete guys that go out and hit 250 but hit home runs. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's ever evolving, I guess, right? So
Yeah.
we can all bitch about the rule changes later.
Yeah, whatever. We got baseball. I'm happy. Speaking of
Yeah.
baseball, anyone who has the MLB TV, if you don't watch that big ticket, it's 7 nights a week now. I don't think last year it was. I think it was only on Fridays and maybe another night. But it's basically like the NFL Red Zone. It's literally every happening action play in real. It's insane. Last night I watched it. I just basically sat there for 45 minutes to watch people hit fucking home runs and make errors. It was incredible. I watched the Tigers. I watched Javi Baez hit a 3-run home run to give the Tigers the lead in the 8th inning, I believe. And then the next time I saw anything from that game, it was fucking Haas throwing the ball in the left field and getting walked off on, you know. What a game that was last night. But Trout hitting home run, and then it just cuts to somebody else, and they're hitting a home run. And I was talking to former guest Finn McConnell on Facebook Messenger. We're bullshitting on the couch, and every time he messages me, I'm like so-and-so bomb. I watched some guy hit 2 home runs. Oh, Rizzo hit 3 bombs last night. Like Rizzo with a second bomb, a little bit. Rizzo with another bomb. Oh, there's Trout with a bomb. Like everybody's hitting bombs. It's just bomb. If you think baseball's boring, if you do, and I don't, I'm not. I'm the farthest dude. Baseball's the most interesting shit to me ever. But if you think baseball's boring, MLB should be marketing the fuck out of that big inning program. It's nonstop action. If you want to engage with this younger audience of kids that you think don't have the attention span to sit and watch this game that you're trying to speed up with clocks and all this extracurricular bullshit we don't need, promote the big inning. Maybe don't put it up behind a paywall. You know, I know it's your network and you got to make money with your network, but maybe since you're doing it 7 nights a week, maybe do it a night or 2 a week for free, or like on a sub leased out to another service, a streaming service or a TV channel or anywhere that'll play it. Let people market the game. Like Manfred is just so bad for baseball, and he has no trust for me. So Pav, I remember what I wanted to say. We were talking about before the show. My other big gripe with Manfred is the Yankees letter came out, and I guess we'll talk about that. But he knew the Yankees were cheating in 2015. Didn't do anything to him. So that makes more sense to me now for the punishment to the Astros, because he's told the Astros when they got caught in 17, if you tell us how you did it, we'll let you off the hook. And that makes sense, because maybe he was in the investigation trying to figure out how all these teams are cheating. But at any rate, it doesn't matter. You know the team's cheating, you just fucking sweep it under the rug because they're the Yankees with 27 rings? Come on. They haven't won a ring since shit. Who cares? Gosh. It's ridiculous. And so not only that, you got Manfred not lying, but failing to disclose that he knowingly, as the commissioner of baseball, knows people are cheating. Does nothing to punish them. And last year, we had the issue with that didn't come out until the season was over, that they were factually, in fact, for 100% fact, absolute certainty, no disputing it, we're using 2 different baseballs and nobody knew who had what balls. Come to find out that all the primetime games had the old school juicy balls, and all the shitty small market, nobody cares, Oakland Athletic 2000 fans in attendance games were getting the newer, more dead balls that were traveling less. And then now we have the issue. Pav, what were you talking about with us earlier today about who was the pitcher complaining about the balls?
Chris Bassett.
Yeah,
from the Mets. So I mean, like a big time guy right now. And
Yeah.
it was actually due to all the hit by pitches in the game. And he said, dude, we don't know where the ball's going. We're getting so many different balls right now. So he's actually saying that there's multiple different balls in use right now.
Well, they said that they had the 2 different balls last year because they couldn't make enough of the new ones in time. Like, they were trying to blame supply chain shortages and all that. I'm sorry, you're the biggest professional baseball organization in the world. I don't think you should be sparing any expense. You know, you're just being fucking a shit human being. Rob Manfred is a lion sack of shit. Like, that's all there is to it. Then he tries to schmooze it over with the players by buying them some headphones while he's manipulating the baseballs, not telling anybody. Fucking knowing teams are cheating. He's trying to steal all the pitcher sticky stuff. Like, I don't think the sticky shit is that big a deal. But it should be, like we've talked about this before, one thing. Like, figure out whatever that is that you're going to let them have access to. Because they called a balk on somebody not too long ago for touching their mouth while they were on the rubber because it was cold. And they called the balk on him. And the dude was pissed. He goes, was he trying to deceive the runner? You know, because that's how the rule states. You know, a balk is a move that tries to deceive the base runner, not the guy at home plate. I'm pretty sure it's the base runner. So anyway, it's just
you can't balk without somebody on.
Right.
That's but it has been a rule forever that you can't go to your mouth while. So like they actually changed that
couldn't
rule.
lick your fingers. And you can't blow your hand unless you have approval.
They changed it now. Yeah. So, like, you're supposed to, if you lick your fingers, like, wipe. So you'll see the guys, they'll come up and then they'll slightly wipe, like, their pants, you know, and then go back to the ball. And that keeps them out of getting in trouble for it. But, yeah, it's kind of a bummer because it's really on the discretion of the umpires.
But the weirdest thing, though, is, like, if the balls are all different, nobody knows what balls we're using, they took the sticky stuff away from the pitchers, why are all the batters sucking right now? Why are the batters average down so much? Major League average is down to an alarming average. It's, like, in the 230s right now. And, yeah, cold weather, all that shit, but I'm not buying any of that. What's going on with the hitters, man? If the pitchers have less grip, so they're not getting the spin rates and the breaking balls aren't snapping as hard as they were, you know, forever. We're not saying all pitchers cheated or cheat. I don't even consider it cheating, man. They're getting a grip. Yeah, it makes the ball break more, but I've always been I've been hit by 95 plus. It ain't fun. Like, it hurts. Even the ones that hit you in the right spots still turn you purple. I mean, getting hit with the baseball sucks. It absolutely sucks. Getting squared up, getting one right in the back, in the side, in the leg, anything with any velocity is not fun. The first time I was ever hit by a big fastball, I wanted to cry, and I was a young kid playing up in a league I was too young to be playing in, and it took everything in my body not to cry, and I was like a 14-year-old kid. Like, everything in me not to just burst out in tears. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like, I had like a baseball-sized lump in my rib cage for like 2 weeks. So I've always been a guy that's let them have something so they know where that ball's going. When that ball leaves the pitcher's hand, I don't care what it does. It's my job to track it and hit it after it leaves the hand. I don't want to track it into my body. Like, Mike Trout got hit in the hand a few weeks ago, and he turned into it. It was super awkward. But getting hit's not fun. I want the pitcher to have control of what he's doing. Let him have something. I'm not saying let him have anything sticky, super sticky. I mean, they have all this technology to monitor spin rates. Like, can't they find something that makes someone feel comfortable and not elevate the spin rates to like an alarming number, like to where it's noticeable? You know, I feel like they have too much science and technology that they can't find a way to make everyone happy. I don't see what the issue is. It should be like a non-issue. But they're tinkering with, like, what the fuck is Manfred doing? Who lets him do this shit? Who does, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to.
They have a bunch of old timers that just, they're not thinking any of this new stuff, from technology to social media, marketing the game. They're all dinosaurs. They don't want to try new stuff. But we'll have a DH. We'll switch to the DH, which I like, but it's like, I don't know. Baseball, they need to find something to market to these kids because kids have changed a lot, you know.
Yeah. That big inning, man. I love that big inning.
And like football's got a huge following. It's a big event once a week. Basketball is becoming a monster sport amongst young kids. And you can watch it on TNT and TBS. If you got a TV with TNT, TBS, you can watch basketball every night. And I guess there's some games on ESPN too, but MLB, if your favorite teams, if it's the Cubs, it's hard to watch them play,
Yeah.
But then they don't market their talent either. I mean, I don't understand why some of these players aren't using social media themselves to market themselves and make more money as well. Because I don't get it.
Maybe we don't know. Maybe they're agents. I don't know. Maybe you say to one, it's a lot risky. There's a lot more eggshells to step on. Yeah. And then what are you going to do exactly with your presence? Make some friends? I don't know. I really don't know what the answer is.
There's a lot of cool stuff out there. I really love Trevor Bauer's channel. He's got some great content on there, and he thinks outside the box. If you ever get a chance to spend some time, I think it's worth following and listening to what he's got to say and show some cool stuff.
When is he gonna pitch?
I don't know. I don't understand why he's not back now. I mean, they've dropped.
Right.
I guess he's suing. He's suing whoever accused him of that.
He should be suing fucking Major League Baseball right now.
That too, yeah. I had read one report he was going to show up to the stadium.
He should. And this is not me speaking pro or con Trevor Bauer. I have my own opinions about him as a human, and none of that matters. He was cleared by the legal system. Marcell Ozuna beat the shit out of his wife last year, and he's back playing baseball. Trevor Bauer had some type of sex with some type of girl and was cleared of any wrongdoings in a criminal scenario, and he still can't play baseball. What the fuck is that about? What is that? Just because the commissioner's office doesn't like him because of who he is and what he does and how he markets himself? I know before he was into any of that, he got fined for having his brand on his belt buckle or some shit like that on his pants, I remember. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. And yeah, he threw that one temper tantrum in Cleveland where he threw the ball over the center field wall, which was absolutely hilarious. I'm not saying that that's like something you should be doing every time, but hey, if you don't want to come out of the game and it wasn't going very good and you still have plenty of pitches in the tank, but you ain't pitching anymore today, maybe you just let one rip 400 feet because you can. I don't know. So that's the weird. If I was Trevor, I would show up. Like, tell me why I can't play. And I want to help this team that I'm on win ball games and win. I want to play the game that I'm really good at and I want to win. Like, he's never been an elite pitcher, but he's found a way to continue to improve, He's a good pitcher. He's great. He's above average now, but
wish he was pitching for the Cubs.
He should be pitching, period. Whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. There's so many bigger human sacks of shit out there that have done terrible things. I mean, the NFL... none of the organizations make sense though. The NFL picks and chooses who they want to blackball after a domestic dispute, or it's so weird, man. Why do things go the way they go? I don't really want to get into the ugly stuff, but there's no reason Trevor Bauer shouldn't be pitching right now. No reason for it. What's the reason? They just extend his leave? Why? Extend these nuts and get back on the mound. Let's go. It's time to play baseball.
Yeah,
Trevor,
they just
where are we at, bud?
like him because he talks too much.
Yeah, so what? That's a good thing. You know why? Because it gets eyes on it. There's no such thing as bad publicity, right? If you're in a sports card business and you get somebody saying something negative about you, you're going to get 20 times more business. Look at those fucking backyard fucks. How much business are they rolling in now after their kaboom? We can't even honestly do that. Fucking idiots. But I'm sure they're rich, wealthy, doing okay. So, I don't understand the big hard-on for Bauer. Let him play. Let him play. Where else are we going here tonight?
Brett, you said you wish Trevor Bauer was pitching for the Cubs.
Yeah.
You know who I wish was pitching for the Cubs? Keegan fucking Thompson.
In the rotation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How in the fuck? He leads the team in WAR. And he's a mop-up freaking reliever.
That's the same role they had him in last year, too.
Such bullshit.
We did the same exact thing with him last year.
Yeah, let him get 6 starts at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know. They keep starting Mark Leiter Jr. Whatever, dude. So weird. They're fucking weirdos.
They say that, you know what I mean? I think they just want to have somebody, and I don't agree with this, but I think they want to have somebody because in that type of position, a quality long reliever, because they know how shit their starting pitching is. They know how many short starts and bad outings they're about to have to put on the bullpen. Well, help yourself out by just putting a good bullpen guy in the rotation.
Jesus.
I don't understand either. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Man, the one bright spot that I'm getting pumped about the Cubs is the longer the season goes. I know it's early, and I'm not going to get super pumped, but Suzuki's looking like a player, man.
Yeah, I wanted him. I'm excited for it.
I didn't know what to think. The dude
he's leading the major leagues in on base percentage right now. 471.
He got another hit tonight that I saw right before we came on.
Huh? He has a really good eye. And that was one thing, watching spring training, like I said, he was swinging at everything. But that's some guys' approach when they're just trying to get loose.
Trying to get their timing.
So, once the season started, man, he is freaking selective. So, it's been a real treat watching him play. Ian Happ's having a good year. But I think they've rigged that team to lose. So, I think, they were over fucking joyed that Patrick Wisdom and Frank Schwindel had, good years last year, because neither of those guys are any fucking good. So, the fact that they could march them out there again this year, and people anticipated for that team to be mid-pack, I think that was a dream. I was really worried because Suzuki was the guy that you bought, and now I feel bad for Suzuki because he's gonna be on this freaking team, and he looks like a damn good ball player. So
I mean, it's only 18 game sample size for him. So but yeah, every early indication looks incredible. The surprising thing to me when I looked at the on base percentages, who did the Padres try to dump all off season? You guys remember the Padres numerous times almost traded this guy, and they couldn't find any suitors. They've been trying to trade this guy for a long time. Eric Hosmer.
Oh yeah,
he's hitting 410 with a 463 on base. He's got 25 hits already. Just absolutely smoking the ball right now. And they were trying to get rid of him. Nobody's going to take his contract. I think he's making high teens, maybe low 20s annual salary. He's leading the majors in batting average. He's just absolutely hitting the ball. He's got 6 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 walks. Just doing incredibly well early. You only got to do that about 4 more times and you're going to have a fantastic season. And it's still April.
Yeah. Another guy who's having a killer start to the year, I think it was 2019 Tops update, Ty France.
Oh, yeah.
For the Mariners. He's got 5 bombs.
He had a few really good stretches last year, too, with Seattle.
And you're talking about Kelnick and Julio Rodriguez, and this dude just comes on like gangbusters to start the year. We'll see if he can keep it up.
He did well last year, if I remember correctly. He had like a really good month. I forget what month, but he had a really, maybe it was April last year. I'm not sure. But this isn't the first we've seen of Ty France. He already has 967 career big league at bats. I mean, he's hit 287 in that time period. The dude's a legit dude. He's 27 years old. He's a big leaguer now. He's no longer a prospect.
You know who's having a good year so far is Manny Machado.
Yeah, everybody wants to talk about Manny Machado.
He's having a good year.
The most surprising thing I see about that is he has 3 stolen bases. That non-hustling sack of shit has 3 stolen bases. I can't stand Manny Machado.
There's a lot of people that can't stand him.
Smug, non-hustle. He literally said, there's a press release out there, I'm not that type of player when it comes to running out ground balls and shit.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? How do you say that? Like, how does your employer say, okay, it's okay for you to not work as hard as everybody else? I don't care. He said that before he got his $300 million. The Padres were like, yeah, bro, don't hustle. Just come over here and hit fucking 357. We won't say anything. I get it if that's what you can do, but I don't know. He's a great player. He really is.
People just don't like him.
Yeah.
I need to go back and find the video, but a guy put together a really good breakdown of some current players that were on a projected path to the Hall of Fame, that were within the sports card hobby, that were, like a guy like Harper is really not affordable buy, but Machado and Arenado were 2 of the guys with his formula was like Gold Gloves. There was a couple other things I just got to find how he did it. And they're kind of in that middle path, but I didn't buy Machado because the media doesn't like the guy and they're the ones that are going to vote.
Yeah. I have some Machado rookies. I do. I have a few colors too.
He's young enough and like he's consistent enough that I think he's just going to be able to get there kind of no problem. It's kind of funny because he's not a perennial all-star. He has on and off years in terms of like making an all-star team and shit. But, an off year for him still is 30 home runs. So I think just he's the kind of guy that he plays a lot of games. So it's just, when you look at guys that make the Hall of Fame, they stay healthy and they have a good second half of their career.
Yeah, and that's so hard to project a second half of a career.
Right. So I think Machado, he stays healthy. So like
he's still young too, right?
He's 29. He's 30 now.
20. That's still young.
29. He'll be 30.
Was he a rookie in 2013?
2012. Yeah. So like the he's somebody that he's going to have enough years of accumulation of stats, that I think he'll probably get in.
It just all depends on if, he has to do it for 10 more years. Whatever he's done now, he's got to duplicate.
I think he'll be kind of like a poor man's Miggy Cabrera because he doesn't hit as well for average. But I think he'll have that kind of career where he'll gain a little weight and he'll play third base, and now he can go fucking DH and just in either league. So I think he'll be able to get a good number of home runs by the end of his career. He'll probably have 450 plus home runs. So
what really helps late in your career? The clear. That extended a lot of careers, I think. I don't know. But it works, because those guys had great back halves of their careers.
You know what the bummer of stuff like that is like Julio Franco.
Man,
You
what
know,
a guy.
dude, a guy like that was able to just play and play and play and play, played right through the steroid era, and
He's like the oldest major leaguer to home run, right? Hit a home run.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So like his ability to continually hit for average at those later years, like if he wasn't grouped in with all these fucking guys taking steroids, then perhaps, it would have had a different comparison. But like he was amongst all these fucking dudes hitting 500 home runs, so obviously his career doesn't matter. It's just a novelty. His career was a novelty at the end, right? It was like, here's this guy who's 46 that can hit fucking 290 in Major League Baseball, but nobody really gives a shit. But it's definitely the second half of their career that makes a Hall of Famer. So I think Manny Machado has the kind of build and the health that he'll probably end up going to the Hall of Fame.
It's too far down the road. Too far down the road, man. Juan Soto's my only lock for the Hall of Fame under 30 right now. And that's just
He's your guy.
That's just because he's my guy. That's it. That's just me being a homer or whatever. And I'm not even a Nats fan. That's just me being a fan. Because I've been on that dude since fucking day one. Day one. That's my golden horse. Golden goose. Whatever the saying. I don't know. Whatever. Soto for the Hall of Fame.
Brett, your Wander. Did PSA post a picture of your Wander on the registry?
I don't know. I didn't really look. I didn't see. That's something I didn't look. I know Golden's been posting stuff about it like crazy, but I did not see. I did not even look at that, to be quite honest with you.
So I noticed when I just had a small submission pop for someone, and one of the cards got an upcharge. It was a Juan Soto hand on hips rookie PSA 10.
Okay.
And when I went to their pay, like when I went and looked in the grades and stuff, and you click the cert number, they actually had scanned images of the card up. So that was the first card that I've had in any of my submissions
That's really cool.
Images. So I knew like they'd been talking about doing that for a long time.
I didn't even know they were. I didn't even know they were doing that.
I know CSG, you can pay for it. I think it's like an add-on service. But that's all I know. I got a bunch of stuff I need to get out to PSA. But I've just been chilling, man. That's nothing about anything that we're doing right now makes any sense.
You know what, Pav's funny is I sent one of those hands on hips like before the pandemic really blew up in a $12 sub, maybe it was a $10 sub, whatever the price was, came back at 10, no upcharge. That thing was it was like right at the peak, right? That February when things were going nuts, it came back. Oh man. It's crazy. Yeah, Brad, I'm gonna
Wander's hitting 319. 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, 1 stolen base. 7 doubles.
Oh, what's Julio Rodriguez doing?
Nothing. He's struggling, man.
He's struggling.
I watched him a few times.
He's doing what they were worried about. They were worried about him striking out a lot. He's striking out a lot.
So, Brad, I just sent you a link.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. You don't need to play the video, but if you go to like 8:55 and like just pause it there, this dude broke down like the players on his list, the age, the war that they were at the time he did this video last summer, all stars, MVP, Gold Gloves and stuff, and he kind of like had it ranked out. It was a really cool list that he put together for some of the guys he had on the list. Like I said, were Harper, Mookie Betts, Trout, Freddie Freeman, Arenado, Rendon. It was really cool how he had this broken down. I really enjoyed that video a lot. And, where if you were a collector at the time and like Arenado was a guy that I was really on from this list. And then he had this video. I'm like, ooh, this is a pretty nice list. This guy's channel is pretty nice. He has some cool stuff. He's a little dry, but I like the content, and he's got a good amount of subscribers. And
Yes, we got it on the screen. It's baseball card collector, investor, dealer. What a name! What a name for a channel. Shout out to that guy. I'm not saying that again. It's a lot of words. But he's got this really well done up chart here. But this is it's just under a year old. And it's got their age, their WAR, All Stars, other. I just hate the fucking WAR argument. You shouldn't be compared to a average big league replacement guy when you're talking about who gets in the Hall of Fame. I just have issue with the way that this is. I don't even know the formula or any of that. What it actually means is just a silly argument to me. You're talking about the greatest of all time.
It's because you can't.
I get it's a benchmark, but it's a stupid
but you can't.
benchmark.
You weren't very good in math.
I'm very fucking good in math.
So like then you should be pro war, to be honest. If you look at it, it's simply a measurement for a player of his era versus other players of his era. So it eliminates having to compare Babe Ruth to Barry Bonds
because because a hit back then was easier to get than a hit is today. I'm the worst guy to have this conversation with.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is WAR is stupid because if you want to let me finish. Clown. Okay. Get away from the camera while I finish too. I look up and your fucking nose hairs were shining in that bitch. So anyway, what I was saying is WAR is stupid. Well, it's not stupid. It's a stupid tool to use for Hall of Fame because if you want to compare, you can't compare eras and say that this guy's WAR is 40 and he played in the 1920s and this guy's WAR is 40 and he played in the 1980s, so they're the same player. No, hits were easier to get in the 20s than they were in the 80s.
Okay, so, but you're not comparing the 20s to the 80s. Again, if hits were easier to get in the 1920s, then the average player's statistics were better for hits in the 1920s. That's why you compare this player's stats versus the average player from the 1920s, not the 1980s. So like that argument, there's no weight there. So
plenty of weight. It's the heaviest of arguments.
No, but I'm saying it's because you're taking, if you're saying hits were easier to get, then the average player from the 1920s got more hits. So that comparison's still valid because you're just weighing that player against players from the same era. So like
I need to see two people with the same exact WAR with their fucking numbers side by side before I continue this argument. That's what I need to see.
And then you need to see the numbers from the average player from the same.
Right. I need to see all of that.
Compared to.
Still dumb. But I agree. I agree with you what you're saying.
It's the only way to do it though. When you're talking about fucking because they use statistics to build WAR. It's not like WAR is just some fucking number they pluck out. They use statistics to make that.
I'm just losing all credibility, or I shouldn't lose all credibility here. I think I'm just gonna piss off everybody, and I just don't think Babe Ruth was that good. I'm just gonna say it. Like I don't. He's not the greatest baseball player of all time, and it's not even fucking close. The dude didn't even have half the competition. Not to mention the whole athleticism and human biomechanical engineering shit that they've done in terms of maximizing what the human body can do. No, just the dude didn't even have the same type of competition. It was white dudes. Like, that's it. American white dudes. That's the only competition. And while I am, like, not as liberal as that argument sounds, that's a fact. An absolute fact. There was no African Americans. There was no South Americans. There was no Europeans, not that too many even make it. And there was definitely no Asian people playing big league baseball. Competition today, you have the best of the best in Major League Baseball today. So that's the, if that argument, like, if you can't listen to that argument, at least go, that makes sense. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying, then I can't even have a conversation with you. It's like literally we had this thing called a color barrier and all that other terrible fucking awful human
I
shit.
understand the argument, but okay, so if all the competition was so much worse back then.
When did baseball start though? Hang on, time out. I'm cutting you off. When did they before big league baseball? Like, I don't know when baseball started as like a sport.
Right.
So
there's no absolute.
Right. If Babe Ruth was like just the first really good baseball player, of course he was gonna do what he did, because it takes time for people to catch up. You can watch mixed martial arts and tell it's only been a sport for 30 years, and what it's done from day one there to where it is now, it's not even the same thing. So that's something I've been able to see in my lifetime. And if baseball is anything like that, which I know it is, because you can see the competition level in the beginning, early UFC events and combat sports, and the competition that these guys have today. And it's a whole nother planet of technical ability and performance. It's just, I don't know. I'm sorry,
it's tough. It's hard to make that argument, because then you're eliminating. Okay, so then you take Babe Ruth and bring him to today's thing, give him all the same fucking analytics and all this stuff, and say, okay, Babe Ruth, if you hit with a little bit more fucking angle, you're going to hit 900 home runs, because you didn't hit with the same fucking launch angle that they do today. So therefore, you're disadvantaged.
He was at a disadvantage with that big fucking gut hanging over his belt too.
He wasn't that fat. That's a terrible. I hate that thing so much, because like if you go watch like real video,
I knew that was gonna stir.
It kills me. It kills me. Like, the image, like people have this image of like fucking Babe Ruth, and it's a Babe Ruth when he was at the very end of his career, right?
Right.
They just ignore they ignore the whole fucking this whole like 18 years of fucking baseball that he played. We're going to focus on the last 3 and say, okay, here's who he was,
Yeah, right.
And it's like he was a tall fucking skinny guy at the beginning. He looked funny.
Just not the best, man. I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. Is he top 10?
I get
is he
it,
top 25? Is he top? Is he even in the top 100? I don't know.
He's right. I don't know. He's number 1. So
says who?
You hit more home runs than entire teams.
Barry Bonds. I think Barry Bonds has got to be.
He never hit more home runs than entire teams, and he obviously.
That's because he had more talent hitting home runs against him.
He obviously had a humongous gain through fucking steroids. He wasn't a 60 home run hitter. Sure. So like he never would have hit 700 home runs. That was a dream.
Everyone was doing it, just like everybody was doing fucking amphetamines. So they were all cheating. Everybody's been cheating in baseball. So I can't have the cheating argument either. Maybe his directly enhanced the performance a little bit better, but you still have to take pitches and you still have to hit the ball. So fucking dude's head got this big and he could still see the ball and lay off them pitch. He took so many. Barry Bonds' on base percentage was like over 500 for like how many players in the history of baseball have ever had a season of 500 on base percentage or better? That literally means that you're a successful offensive player, which is absolutely unheard of. To get on base more often than you get out in your plate appearances, that statistically makes you successful. If you're at above 50%.
I get it, but who goes from a 323 on base to a 437 on
A
base?
guy that's hitting fucking 80 home runs a year, that's who.
Right. So I mean, like, there's obviously, it's
Right.
It's
You got to be a lot more careful to a guy like that, especially once he shows that he got really large and he went to the equipment manager and said, "Sir, I need a bigger hat."
I'm telling you, it's so
My batting helmet
funny
don't
watching
fit.
like
It's stuck on the top of his head and shit.
watching Rookie of the Year with Barry Bonds in there, and you're like,
Yeah.
who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, the old
That's
little
not
skinny pilot
Barry
guy.
Bonds, dude. That's not fucking Barry Bonds. Which obviously he was a great baseball player already, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. And again, obviously you can't. That's why you can't have those arguments when you're talking eras, because it's not possible to compare this guy to this. And I hate it. I hate it anyway, because like people always go, well, guys throw harder now. Yeah, and they fucking point the fucking radar gun closer to the mound so that fucking numbers look bigger on the screen. It's bullshit everywhere.
When did they didn't even have an accurate radar gun until when though? Like it was at least the 60s, or it had to be after the 60s. Had to be. When did they start actually using a radar gun? So that whole throw harder thing, like I agree 100% because they have to throw harder now than they did in the early 1900s, simply because just in your lifetime, Pav, and the radar guns we had, like guys are throwing 103 to 105 miles an hour. Like I don't care where you're pointing that radar gun, man, it's hot. Like that's coming in hot, dude.
Right, but I mean, like if Nolan Ryan threw today at his peak, it'd be like 108 on their fucking radar guns.
And they didn't baby him.
Right.
They let him.
Right. He always threw
and throw
350 innings a season.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't know what is it? He threw like 96 miles an hour the last pitch he ever threw.
After he blew his arm out, right? His elbow was shot and he stayed in and finished. That was before they knew, could do Tommy John right and well and all this. And now everybody has Tommy John. Fucking, who's going down for the third? Oh, sad story. Local story. Not sad in the fact that it ends badly, but this kid from my area who's at Vanderbilt right now, he's a junior at Vanderbilt. He won back-to-back state titles in high school with the baseball powerhouse. It's a private Catholic school. His name's Michael Doolin. He was Mr. Baseball in Indiana 2 years in a row. Set the state record, struck out 17 kids in a state championship game out of 21 outs. His senior year, he struck out 15 kids in a state championship game. Got to pitch as a freshman at Vanderbilt in 2020 before COVID canceled. Then he had Tommy John surgery. Now he's got to have it again on the same arm. Like 8 months later. Like it didn't take well or something. I have not talked to any of his people. I just read about that because I was curious how he was doing. He's the most dominant prep kid we've ever seen around here. And you had Leiter and Kumar Rocker dominating for Vanderbilt. And he was rehabbing, and I guess it went south again, and he's got to have the same arm done. They said, Tommy John the first time is like everybody has to have it nowadays, but to get it done twice is not good. So hopefully they get him all cleaned up and straightened out because he was just too good to not have the opportunity to continue playing.
It's pretty interesting. Like now you're seeing where like it was always, and I've seen they've been talking about this a lot more during baseball broadcast and shit, but it was always said, you can't teach someone to throw hard, right? And now like that's something that they're actively doing.
Yeah.
Like they
can increase your velocity.
Right. So like you think about stuff like that. So, that's obviously a lot to do with your tendons and all that. your ability to throw that hard.
Yeah.
And you'd think that somebody that threw that hard naturally versus somebody that has to do all of the extra things to get there
is more susceptible.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
you? I mean,
Absolutely. If it's not natural to you, you've been, and that's not because your body can't handle it, but that's because that's how your body developed. Like,
right.
it's like I watched this video the other day that's it actually applies to this conversation. It was a guy, as it pertains to weightlifting, he's like, listen, people who tear their pectoral muscles while bench pressing generally do it because those types of people who are really like chest heavy bodybuilders and lifters, they'll do a bench press or an incline bench press and they'll stay off their chest. Like they won't go all the way down. They'll stay 8 or so inches off their chest and work a specific range, right? And it says this is where I get the most activation of my muscles. This is where I'm doing the most. And they say when you tear your pec, it's because you use that same weight and then you actually come all the way down here where you're supposed to, but your muscles aren't and your tendons aren't used to being stretched like that with that type of weight because you're so busy trying to maximize your area and you're not actually doing the full range of motion. So you're only strengthening your chest in a very specific limited area.
Going for some sort of fucking shape or something.
Yeah, right. And then when you actually do the exercise the way it's intended to be and you expand and contract your muscle to the limits, both small and long limit, the shit just ruptures and tears. So when you're pitching and you're not optimizing your biomechanics, that means you're not stretching your tendons out all the way. You're not getting all the snap and the whip. And then when you learn to do that, well, your body's not used to doing that. So you're putting more strain on these tendons that didn't get to develop and build and get torn slightly and repair themselves doing the most efficient things. Maybe you weren't doing the most efficient things. And I agree that argument makes a ton of sense as to why you see everybody nowadays get Tommy John, because not everybody just naturally throws 90 to 95. Maybe they throw 80 to 85, and with the proper fundamentals and techniques, they can get 5 to 8 to 10 more miles an hour out of what they could do naturally, and physically, just from the mechanical side of things. So that changes how your tendons and joints and shit fire off. And what was it? Julio Rodriguez. I saw him. I watched a video of him where they like fit him for a bat. You guys ever see anything like that? I forget what the bat company was, but they literally put a suit on him and told him, they said, "Hey, your front leg is stronger than your back leg," or vice versa, whichever it was. And they're like, it makes sense because you want to be strong in your back leg for swinging or whatever the argument was. I'm sorry, I'm just doing this from memory. But they said he was, just because he's been playing baseball for so long and he does that swing and that's what he does. His body developed in a way that's not 100% symmetrical in terms of his muscle development, but is 100% beneficial to be that way, to be a baseball player. So like his body kind of not evolved, but it just grew into what he was constantly doing, and that's playing baseball. So it's interesting, the science and technology. You can actually find out things in that small a detail. Like, hey, your stance is off a little bit, but we know why, because you're a baseball player, and this is how your muscles and all of that is. It's very, very cool.
I think it's going to lead to a lot shorter careers for most guys. I think you're going to see a lot of where they tune these guys up, and have them play 3 to 5 years of good baseball, and then you see them. They're going to be fucking,
the regression.
Bench veterans hopping around from team to team, just hit. But like they're going to have 3 to 5 years of good baseball. You're going to see a lot of guys. I think we're going to see a lot of guys that don't make it to the majors till they're 27, and they get those prime 28 to 31 get those years in there and then just freaking say, okay, dude, you're done. And I mean, it'd be hugely beneficial to the ownership groups to not have to sign any of those big contracts. You're still going to have the rare guys that get that stuff. But I think we're already seeing that kind of move. I think that's why you get the guys like Jake Arrieta and stuff like that, where, it is just a few years of really good. The analytic guys come in and say, hey, look, the way that you throw the ball, you should be doing this more often because it would work better with the way you throw. And then, that stuff lasts for a few years. And once they can't do it anymore, they have nothing else to give. So I think, you're going to have teams exploit what guys are good at for a few years. And once they can't do that thing anymore, they're like, okay, move on to the next 27-year-old that we can get 3 to 5 years out of.
Sure. It makes a lot of sense. And not only that, it's just if they're all if we figured out as much as we can figure out about how to develop and maximize the human body performance wise, then everybody's gonna know all of these things. So it's just gonna make the competition more fierce too. So once a guy starts to decline a little bit, there's already this next young buck ready to swoop in. Or maybe there's two young bucks. Who knows? It's very interesting.
Well, it's like we talked about with the specialization of the sport now, where you're seeing the little leagues die off. Everybody joins the travel team. Everybody gets specialized training. And that's all it is anymore. It's like, okay, we're going to train you. As long as you got the money, we'll get you a chance, because you can, like you said, push all those specialized training methods, all those specialized workouts and say, hey, look, if you follow this plan, this is going to give you the best shot of being a major leaguer. Now, what they don't tell you is that if you don't have the talent, you might only be a major leaguer for a couple years, and that's it, man. And the guys that have the talent to carry themselves, when you're talking about the way that everybody trains, you see it a lot more cut down and thorough, right? Where there's only a few guys that are on that top level that actually will play, 15 to 20 years in the major leagues. And then the rest of these guys have the really short careers. We see a lot of guys like Darwin Barney and shit like that, right? Where you just get a couple years out of this guy and then he's just gone. So, I mean, you get that kind of shit. Now it's like Matt Caesar is a perfect example of somebody. He was a running back, right? At Vanderbilt and played baseball there. And the Cubs brought him in. Everybody was worried about him possibly going to the NFL and shit like that. And, he's such a good athlete that they knew they could get a little bit of decent baseball out of him. But now he's retired and he was just turned 30 or something. So like that is going to be kind of a lot more normal thing, I think, that we're going to see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm listening 100%. But Candy Digital just sent me over the contract for me to sign to officially partner with them. I've been waiting for this thing for a few days now. They actually asked me earlier today. They're like, "Hey, did you get that contract we sent over yet?" I'm like, I've never, no, I have not. Like, okay, we'll get it sent over. Makes sense now because it came from somebody I've not spoken to. I agree. Shorter the careers, man. I just think there's gonna be somebody waiting in the wings at all times now. I mean, it's always been that way, but if we're at the peak of what the human body can do, I don't know how much harder a human could throw to baseball.
How much technology and human anatomy study do you think MLB teams or the MLB are putting into, like, especially pitcher's arm? Your biggest asset are your pitchers. Let's face it.
I'm sure a
And,
ton, because it's
I mean-
cheaper to do that type of research than it is to pay a superstar pitcher.
But it's the biggest investment they make right now.
I would assume it's a lot of money, and I'm sure it's top secret shit between all the teams.
Yeah, I mean, if you figure out what's going on with these arms and injuries, you become worth a ton of money because
Yeah.
every team wants that. You know,
I don't think they'll fix it. I think it's just I think it's really a huge part of the way that they're training these guys, because everybody is, bigger, stronger, faster. That's what it's all about. I look at the fucking guys on the field now. Like, when you go to the game, these guys are giants, man. It's not the same MLB that it was for years and years. The idea of Cal Ripken Jr. playing shortstop back in the day was outrageous, right? Because he was 6'3", and it's like, now,
Right.
man, how many fucking guys that play shortstop are 6'3"? That's pretty normal.
O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates is 6'7".
Yeah, so like, I
Granted,
think
he's in AAA, and that's kind of it should be a criminal penalty right now for especially how not good the Pirates are going to be this year in service time manipulation. But he's a guy. He's taller now. Strike zone's this big.
right.
Even Angel Hernandez could call his strike zone. You know what I mean? Accurately. That dude's getting a B report card. An umpire in big league baseball should not have an accuracy range in the technical B portion of a grade scale. Like, he's a B average. That was his average for that game against the Phillies where Schwarber went nuts. Angel Hernandez was 88% accurate on ball strike calls on pitches that were taken. Obviously,
Okay.
that's how you do
I
it.
was watching that game. It was brutal.
And Schwarber's pitch was completely a ball, and he said the same thing. He said it wasn't so much that pitch as it was a culmination of that entire game. So, yeah. He said there was like a fake thing, and I don't know if it was fake or not, but it said he said to Angel Hernandez, a Philly cheesesteak has better eyeballs than you. Whether that's a joke or not, I don't know, but that was the funniest thing I heard about that entire situation. He supposedly said a Philly cheesesteak has better eyeballs than you. Oh, yeah, Angel Hernandez, that guy sucks.
That's funny.
That guy
Man.
sucks.
Trout's on a heater. Another home run.
Another one.
Exit velo 110. Went out to left. Would have been a home run in 17 of 30 MLB parks.
What are they gonna make a run this year at all? You think they got it in them?
I have no faith in the Angels.
I want them to. So you know what I mean? I think they're a good team for baseball again, whether they're
Would you
them
love to see
and the
fucking
Blue Jays, man.
Trout in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otani, Trout, that'd be
We've
amazing.
been robbed. We've been fucking robbed as MLB fans, man.
Could you imagine an Angels Blue Jays series right now in the playoffs?
Dude,
That might actually put some fans in the Rogers Center.
What would be like an NBA comparison of Trout? Like Giannis not getting the playoffs every year, but being one of the best players in the league.
I think he's more. So Giannis is more of a one-trick pony to me. He's great, but he's just dominant because of his size.
it'd be LeBron, right? It'd be LeBron not making fucking playoffs. That's what it'd be right now.
I love when LeBron doesn't make the playoffs. Basketball's
Right,
so
but
much
I'm
better.
saying,
in his
There's
prime.
less flopping.
in his prime.
Oh,
in his
Dwayne Wade.
Prime.
I watched Dwayne Wade in the playoffs. Bet your ass, dude. D Wade's.
I mean, it would be a
D Wade's
shame
one of the
to
most underrated dudes ever, I think.
It would have been a shame in the prime to not see LeBron in the playoffs, and that's what it's been with Mike Trout.
He never won. What? I'm taking my talents to South Beach. We're not going to win 3, not 4, not the fucking fuck that guy. I'm over LeBron.
I don't like LeBron, but
Can't
I
stand
can
the
respect
dude.
him.
Not me. I don't know. I have a really hard time with a lot of the NBA guys though, and all as it pertains to China and things like that. So they're all wearing a fucking muzzle.
That's going to be the
They
big
want
fall.
to talk about all this fucking shit, but then when it's time to actually talk about real issues where you can make change. No, you got to be quiet because your handler says so. Come on.
But our shoe deals, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Nike shoe deals
Right,
made
exactly.
by slave
That's-
labor. Yeah.
I'm good.
Just do it. Just do
do
it. We're so self fucking righteous. Bunch of fucking idiots.
Let's go. I'm wearing it right here.
Dude, I look, I love Nike stuff, right? So be a fucking clothing company and admit your fucking mistakes when you make them and just eat it and fucking, I don't know. It's just people sometimes, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever. Mike Trout's 1 for 12 in the playoffs with 3 walks.
That's brutal.
That's it, huh?
That's gonna be
They've
the
been so bad.
People though are like, Trout shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. He only hit 083 in the playoffs. Like he played fucking 3 games, dude.
Honestly.
He's Dan Marino, right?
That's a good comparison. Did you see bench is clear today at with the Mets and the Cardinals?
I don't know what about, but yeah, I saw some things. I haven't
there
seen
was
much of anything today, baseball related.
There was a pitch up and in. I don't know who was pitching for the Mets, but up and in and near his face. And Arenado had some words, and then they kind of charged. No, I don't think there was any big punches, but the bench is cleared, and they were yelling back. I forgot. I think Pete Alonso might have got hit in the head earlier in the series.
He did. He got earlier in the year. I don't know if it was. It might have been the first. It was the first games of the year, wasn't it?
It may have been, but
maybe not. Maybe
there's
maybe
been
the
a
first
lot of
week or
balls
so.
up and in this year.
But yeah, Alonso
Guys
got hit in the head. That did happen. I remember. He got hit. He got right back up, and they just took him out of the game. They didn't even let him, think about it.
Bench is cleared there, and another guy with a nice start to the year, Ke'Bryan Hayes, has been really good for the Pirates.
He got that deal, son. He's a paid man. He's happy. You don't have to worry about money the rest of his life now, whether he performs or not. I mean, that's a real thing. To get over that, or like to not have to worry about that. What if, just imagine, because Hayes has been in baseball for a while. He's drafted in 14 or 15. It's not like it's his first rodeo. He's still young, obviously, incredibly young, incredibly talented. But it always reminds me that Ryan Braun did the same exact thing. He took like a 7-year, $40 million deal, and they're like, "Why'd you do that?" It's like, because I never have to worry about money again, ever. Now I can just play baseball, take my steroids, let my eyeballs get this big. They look like my pop filter. His eyeballs, they're just huge. Ryan Braun had the bulgiest eyeballs in the history of baseball during his prime. Whatever steroids he took were not for muscles. It was like eye steroids. If you go back and look, he has like abnormally round, bulging eyeballs during like his peak of his career. That dude was seeing the ball like you just would not believe. Just absolutely seeing the ball. So now Hayes just doesn't have to worry about anything anymore. Just worrying about playing baseball. He doesn't have to worry about if he breaks his leg, if they get somebody in the system that's going to take his position, if he's going to get traded. He doesn't have to worry about it. It's all whatever now. He's got money. Or he's going to continue to get money for a long time. And then if he makes all that money and he's still young enough, he's going to make a shit ton more money. He's going to get another deal. But if he doesn't get the opportunity to play, or if he gets injured, he's set for life. Good for him. But he's doing well. It's good to see. You love to see it because the Pirates suck. And the Pirates will not do well. Ever. No. If Ke'Bryan Hayes becomes the best player in baseball, his team will never make the playoffs. Like he'll beat Mike Trout. You'll never see him in October. It's going to be like Joey Votto. Joey Votto, that's my biggest knock on Joey Votto. He willingly accepted to play in Cincinnati for his whole career. He could have got out. He could have went to somewhere. He could have went and won or tried to win. It's like, nah, I'm going to stay here where nobody shows up and, there's no pressure on me.
Jeez. Remember when the Reds used to be good?
Yeah. The Reds have always tried to be good. it's just sometimes it doesn't go their way. Like, they've never really done what they're doing this year until this year. You never seen such an egregious just dumping of salary. Like, that's all they tried to do this offseason was cut.
Joey Votto's hitting 143.
He's 100 years old now. How old
Ouch.
is he?
38.
He's getting old, man.
Have you guys seen Logan Gilbert pitch?
Yeah. Yes.
I like Logan. I liked him for a while.
I watched the pitch, and then the other night, and then after the game, he said he didn't have his best stuff, and he was still dicing him up, man. Dicing him up. What's his numbers looking like?
3-0, 0.4 ERA, 22 Ks.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him pitch.
I watched one of his starts, and after the start, he said to a reporter that he didn't have his best stuff tonight, and he found a way to get through it. I don't remember what game it was, but I vividly remember watching him pitch. Those late night West Coast games, I see more of them than anything not Cubs related.
Yeah,
because
I don't see any of those.
That's usually like I'll still be down here working, buttoning shit up, and I'll have a game on, or I'll actually not be working. I'll just be hanging out upstairs, and everybody's asleep by then, so I just watch baseball.
Brett, you know who has better numbers than Logan Gilbert?
Who's that?
Is it Miguel? Oh.
That's
yes and no,
hilarious.
because they won't give him a start.
Yeah.
He has 14 strikeouts in 13 innings with a .00
Jeez.
ERA.
That's funny. Yeah, I'd pulled some really good, nice Logan Gilbert autos and parallels and in the chat on some of my live streams. There's been a few people that are like, I love Logan Gilbert. I didn't know much about him, and then I saw his stats and was like, dang, this kid is off to a really good start.
Yeah. Here's the biggest takeaway. I don't know. Actually, I guess I do know. I'm gonna find out. You can sit here and sort it all out right
The thing
now.
with Logan Gilbert, like if you look at him, he was always good in the minors everywhere. Everywhere he went, just fucking started out the whole time. So I think it's pretty easy for them to give him a shot. And then, you know, Seattle's a good team about that, letting the guys have a fucking shot to play. You know, that dude, Julio Rodriguez is still playing. You know, he can't hit a fucking lick right now. And they just let him keep playing, you know. And they're still hanging tough in the AL West. So I think they'll be there at the end of the season making a run for it. But it'd be interesting to see if the Angels can hang tough, you know. The Angels got a lot of fucking hitting. So, I mean, if they could just get any pitching, man, you got to think that, like, they'll have to be a buyer mid-season, you know, that'll be their big thing. Can they get the extra pitching to continue making a run?
So I don't know how this falls calendar-wise, but last year in the big leagues, there were 50 complete games pitched. This year, there's only been one so far. Not talking shutouts, just complete games where the pitcher goes. You know, usually that's pretty close to the shutout numbers, but there's only been one so far. So we talk about all this analytical stuff. Do you think maybe that could be a reason why the batting average is lower because they're having to deal with more looks? You know, could that be a thing? Because
that's definitely a part of it.
These pitchers, you know, they're not letting these people pitch the third time through the order, you know, because the numbers say it's not good. So
I'll bet I wonder like what the average number of pitchers used per game is.
Oh yeah, sure.
To, like previous years. I'll bet it's way up. Did you guys see?
And especially right now in April, because they're allowing them to have 28 men on the fucking roster. You know, they don't have to go down to 26 until May, so they're carrying extra pitchers. Even if they're not good pitchers, it's still a different pitcher, and it's something new to look at.
Did you guys see the Rays versus the Red Sox when the Rays were throwing a combined no-hitter, and they had 6 fucking pitchers?
Yeah, and they threw it through 9 innings.
Yeah,
But,
it was
hey,
all relievers.
so then all that happens, and then they're doing this no-hitter, and all of a sudden you get the extra innings, and surprise, there's an imaginary guy on second base that's for real. How'd he get there? I don't know. We never let him there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Manfred.
And then the first batter hit a triple, right? The first batter in the 10th inning hit a triple, and the fucking Red Sox scored 2 runs, and then the Rays come up. So they had their no-hitter through 9 innings. Both teams went to extra innings, 0-0. Red Sox scored twice, and then fucking Kevin Kiermaier hit a 2-run.
It's a walk-off bomb.
home run. Yeah. So that was actually a really neat game to watch.
Yeah, but how fucked is that? Like
6 pitchers.
nobody's even scoring, and then all of a
No,
sudden
I don't think. Like if you look, I don't think any of those pitchers threw more than 2 innings.
Well, sure. Why would you?
So there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
if you throw a new pitcher,
That's why you should make the roster smaller. Make the roster smaller. Just put it back to 25. Don't let them have the opportunity to do that. Do you make these rosters bigger, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get more nickel and diamond bullpen games. And while, yeah, that's cool for you trying to manage and win a ball game, that's shit for the fans. I'm sorry. More pitchers is, the 3-batter minimum thing, whatever. That's not doing anything to curb the use of 10 pitchers a game. Or maybe you should say, hey, you can only use 4 pitchers a game, period. That's it. Do what you will with
my
them.
God.
But that's it. You get 4 guys.
I'm sorry you've given up 15 runs this inning, but we need you to make it 2 more.
Yep, because we can't use fucking Joe till next inning. Exactly.
I know your arm's toast, dude. You're dragging your fingers on the ground, but you gotta go, man.
That would be a whole nother way for them to have to deal with their analytics, because they're gonna analyze this shit until it's impossible to play, or just so that the deck is so stacked against you. I'm sorry, offensively for baseball, the deck's stacked against you. Period.
Look what the shift did, dude.
Well, fucking bunt. And yeah, nobody wants to watch big leaguers bunt. I get it. But fucking bunt. Jesus Christ. Just bunt. Cheese and rice is what I said. Just bunt. Fucking catch the ball with your bat and let it go to third base.
I think you're going to get a... yeah, but nobody teaches anybody how to bunt anymore.
I know.
So I think
nobody wants to spend $100 a ticket to go to a major league game and watch people bunt either.
Right.
I understand it. But...
Right.
Do it.
I think they're gonna make the rule that you can't have that you have to have 2 and 2.
Yep.
Because even then, you can still shift all the way over to the fucking bag. So I mean, that shift is still pretty big shift.
You're just gonna have your guy in second base, in left field, or are they gonna make him stay on the infield? You know what I mean? That could.
I think they'll make them stay on the dirt.
But can you?
The side of the bag.
As it is now, like, you can play, like, you don't have to play anybody anywhere, right? You could technically put a pitcher, a catcher, a guy on first, and 6 dudes in the outfield if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, you could technically do that.
Yeah.
So, maybe they just define it, like, just and people say, well, they don't do that in football, blah blah blah. Yes, the fuck they do. Like, it's called a legal formation for a football play. Like they say, you can't you can't tell a receiver you can't line up at tailback. No, but under the principles of football, formations have to have certain things to make them a legal formation. So yes, you can ban the shift, just like you can set standards for what constitutes illegal and illegal formation.
There's no rule that you can't play a third baseman at second base.
Right.
But now, and that's the thing, is like when a wide receiver goes to the running back position, he is then a fucking running back. He's not a wide receiver anymore. Even though that's what he's known for, he is a running back at the point that he takes that position. So, I mean, it's like, it's interesting when they do
for my example though, is you can't, like, okay, so for football, for the argument against football, you can't let the right tackle be the center and have 4 linemen up to the left of the ball because you want to run a power run play to the left. You can't do that. Just like you can't put, or next year we assume
you have to have so many guys on the line and all this shit.
You can't put 4 guys on this side of the infield, so that football argument I've heard, like, oh, just gonna go watch football because they don't tell you what you can. Yes, the fuck they do. They tell you exactly what you can and can't do, and you're so used to it by now you don't even understand that. You don't understand that 7 people have to be on the ball on the line of scrimmage for it. There's rules. There's rules. You see a ref call illegal formation, everybody goes, "What just happened?" Well, their formation was fucked up, and that they actually have to get down and get set, and they can't just walk up to the line and start. You know what I mean? There's a procedure in play. That's why the illegal procedure. Just like they would do it in baseball. But I don't know what you could do, like, if, like, you say 2 and 2 have to be on the infield. Like, what happens if a guy sneaks over there to the other side of second base? Like, how do they punish you or penalize you for doing it? You know what I mean?
Right. I suppose, like,
just say, the shift's illegal, and be like, fuck you, watch this.
It'd probably be an automatic walk or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some sort of balk. Maybe they call a ball on that pitch.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. I guess that's stuff to look forward to for next season, next off season.
Well, the part that I don't like is, like, and, like, I hear guys in the booth complain about this, is like, for scorekeeping, right? All of a sudden, you don't know how to fucking score a play because you got 4 guys playing second base.
Yeah, usually you'll see
how the fuck do you write it down, man?
Yeah, you'll see the second baseman guy going to the outfield, and you'll see the third baseman go all the way over to where the second baseman should be, and then the ball goes to him. And instead of it being a 4-3 ground out, you put 6-3 ground out, or you don't know. Is it a 6-3 put out or is it a 4-3 put out? Well, the third baseman made the play, but technically he was playing second base on the play because he he positioned himself where a second baseman plays baseball. Now the second baseman's an outfielder, but we only have 3 numbers for the outfielders. You got 7, 8, 9. He's fucking 10 now all of a sudden, and now there's no 4 on the diamond. No, there's no 6 over here. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. I understand the confusion. Because it creates confusion when you start moving them out of their position. So, do you score it where the ball went, or do you score it who made the play?
Who had the play the other day, where nobody covered third? Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
It was during a shift. And I think it was like an infield fucking single or something, right? And the guy just kept running, and, like, when there was a bad throw or something, and all of a sudden when he hit second, man, there was nobody at third.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, let's go.
Seems like that should be the pitcher's responsibility. But I don't know how baseball gets played in the shift. I don't know who these. I never did a shift ever.
Right.
I never shifted in baseball.
All of a sudden, that's the thing.
I mean, we shifted in the outfield, in and out, a few steps here, a few steps there, but, we never did anything wild. Not like what they do now. So
No. Could you imagine if you did that in fucking high school and shit?
And that's funny too, because before even data started getting to the high school level, that's all it was. Like, oh, it's a lefty. Everybody go protect the line.
Right.
Like, oh, every left-handed hitter's a fucking Deadpool hitter, huh? Well, he's left-handed and we don't see him as much, so get over there on that line. Like, all right. Oh, the fucking coach is doing this dumbass shit. Like, fuck you, dude. If he hits the ball in the air, I can get over there. No, what do you want me to do? Make the play in the stands? Yeah, all right, I'll be in there. Just settle down. We don't need to do all this shifting. Lefties aren't all. And then the dude hits a fucking bloop single to left field. Like, oh, yeah. Deadpool. Where'd you get that scouting report from, coach? I'm not condoning anybody to, disrespect their coach.
It's funny, man. The high school teams, a lot of them have that stuff now. It's
right,
insane.
And now they do. Oh, yeah. I remember the last time I was in the field house of my old high school. We were actually coaching a 9U team, and they were they were taking those 9U kids and having them go hit off a tee so that they could measure their fucking exit velo and shit like that. Just these, they're like, listen, we don't care about any of this. This is just to show you if you're getting better, like, throughout the year. Obviously, those kids are going to grow, so naturally the number's going to go up. But they're like, here, we do it at the start of the season, we do it in the middle of the season, we do it at the end of the season, just to see if anything you've been working on has had any sorts of effect. And they do it with, like, neutral things, like hitting off a tee, or, like, soft tossing in a cage. The way they measure these things, they do it, like, as controlled as they can. You know, so they're not taking it out of, like, game data. But it's weird, like, even just have, like, you really need data on a 9-year-old kid. What the fuck, man? I didn't play organized baseball until I was 14 years old. And I still ended up going pretty far playing. I didn't get to play baseball for as long as I wanted to, but, you know, like, just the opportunities kids have nowadays, it's good and bad, I think, because the kids don't get to be kids, especially if you got pushy parents, and then, the parents want to try and live through their kid. Like, come on, man. They're fucking kids. No 9-year-old kid needs to be specialized in one sport, period. And then the bad part about it is what it does to the community. You don't think about that. Kids don't get to play Little League anymore because you got to be a fucking travel baseball superstar by the age of 10 now. And it's just ridiculous. So now, and you know, the community doesn't have a baseball team or teams or any of that. They were asking me to go coach the junior league baseball team in my town. Like, listen, I would love to. My first year of organized baseball, we won the state championship and almost went to the Little League World Series in that age group, just above the majors. So we were 13, 14-year-olds. We won state. The first time I ever played baseball, I was state champion. Like, oh, this is fucking great. Let's do this. So now we went from organization. So that would have been like 2004, maybe 2004. I think we fielded 6 full teams in our town, like 6 full, like 12 or 13 man teams, and then formed an all-star team out of all of those teams and continued to play. To where now they field one team from like 3 different towns and they can't even get a coach. Like, it's sad. It's fucking sad, man. And I wanted to coach them so bad, but with everything I have on my plate and my little girls getting into curriculars and things like that, my youngest is starting soccer. She's only 3, and it's just like house rules, or like house league soccer. It's not competitive. It's just, hey, go kick it's like t-ball but for soccer. They couldn't get a coach. I was going to coach, but I don't know anything about soccer. I told my wife. I said,
kickball.
I said, exactly. I said, that's the only good thing I'd do for them kids. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to dribble a soccer ball. I mean, I probably do, but I don't know, like, the actual fundamentals to teach a kid. I don't know how you need to plant your foot. I know you're not supposed to kick the soccer ball with your toe, but I don't know, like, the proper, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know I'm no good for that. And then who knows who's gonna, who knows who's coaching my kid right now. I mean, I know it's a nice young lady that's coaching the team, and we've seen her in other things in the community, but it's like, man, we can't even get, like, people, like, for these like more entry level types of things to find out if you want to be a part of it or not. The same thing with my oldest with cheer. We had a big problem with cheer last year. My kid's got, I don't know, she's not diagnosed or anything, but she doesn't pay attention. Like, she wants to do whatever she wants to do. And with cheerleading, or the first year of cheerleading for, like, Pop Warner, it's like Tiny Mites. The very first ones they do. They couldn't, like, get coaches for that either. So it's like, how are you going to get these kids interested in doing something like this for the duration of their childhood or their youth if you don't even have people that want to be there to do it? So it's like, it's just fucking sad to see as I'm growing up, because the town I live in is not tiny. It's not a giant. I don't live in a city, but it's 50,000 people or better. Like, there's a lot of people here. We don't have anybody, you know what I mean? It's not good to see. And a lot of that goes back to everyone in every facet, whether it's cheer or sports or gymnastics. Everything is super, ultra, uber competitive right out of the gate. It's ridiculous. Let these
That-
kids be kids.
That's a huge part of it. But here's another part that, again, I don't want to drag this down and go on for 30 minutes. But as a PE teacher, somebody who loves sports, who used to coach, parents are psychos. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have been following, but there are referees. There's a referee shortage. There are referees getting assaulted at games, punched, attacked. It's wild. It's the Wild West. So there's a referee shortage. There's coaching shortages. I mean, there's teacher shortages coming, guys. That I've been. This is my 21st year teaching, but you're gonna in the next 10 years, you're gonna see people begging for teachers. I'm gonna have to be covering freaking 2 loads, I think, coming down the stretch. It's a societal problem that sports is part of society, a big part of it, and we need to get back to some core values of, like I used to coach, and I don't want to coach because, and it's not really about the money, it's about the BS you deal with
Yep. No, I get it.
with parents and even kids.
I had a
kids,
9-year-old kid tell me no.
yeah, that's
What?
there's
I'm
a
here to
lot of
volunteer.
problems.
My kids aren't even on the team. I'm helping my friend whose son is on the team. But I'm here because I want to help these kids. And then we tell the kid to go out. We weren't even punishing him. We were just doing some infield stuff and some outfield stuff. Go to the outfield. No. What the fuck do you mean, no? Do you know how to catch a fly ball? No, get your fucking ass out in the outfield then and let's teach you something. Tell me no. His dad comes here. He's like, where's my kid? He's sitting in a dugout. Why? Because he told me no, and I'm not dealing with that. That's not my job. Luckily, that dad was a stand-up dude, made that kid go run. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't cuss you out. Be like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I'm like,
You
listen,
can't tell my
like-
kid to do that.
He told me no. I'm like, we asked him to go to the outfield. We're gonna start doing some, just read and react drills, just basic, easy shit. Basically playing catch, but with a fucking lob to it. And he wanted to say no, so we just told him, all right, we'll sit in the dugout then. And that's what where we left him. It's like shit. I was literally volunteering my time against my wife's wishes because I have my own family to take care of. But I have a vast knowledge of baseball that I could share with these young kids, and it sucks, man. It sucks. And take one quick shot at public education here, Brett. I'm gonna do it.
Hey,
So
fire
here's,
away, baby,
here's the
if I've heard
problem,
it all.
man. Here's the problem. I love teachers. Teachers get underpaid on the whole, but how many fucking people go to college for the easy ride that is a fucking teaching degree?
Oh yeah.
And then to complain about your pay after that. Like, you knew what you shouldn't get into education for the pay. I understand you need to make plenty of money to be able to support yourself. And I know teachers that are 30 years old that still live with their parents. What are you doing?
I think it's
And then they're like, well, we have student loans. Well, like, why do you?
it's a complex story.
It's tough. It's tough across the board.
I've never really, like getting back to pay, I never expected to make a ton of money, but where things have changed in the education world is, again, without going into politics, but the liberal mindset when it comes to discipline, especially,
We gotta be careful.
is the discipline of kids. It's
Sure.
it's no longer, you can't do this. It's a negotiation of, hey, will you go to class? Will you not curse at a teacher? It's a dance, and there's no more tough love.
No,
I've been
that's all
told, don't
tough
yell
love.
at kids. Be nice. It's like, come on, man. Kids are soft, and things are changing. So not only is the job tougher, it's frustrating,
Right.
and then they're expecting teachers to do more, like way more. This
Sure.
data BS, and I mean, it's wild.
Yeah, that's not cool.
People are quitting at an all-time record pace
And I don't
from that
blame 'em.
profession.
Right.
I don't either. I've got coworkers who could teach longer, and they're retiring early. They're like, I'm done with this.
I don't
It's
blame 'em.
and again, that leads into sports, and it's a different generation of kids too. I'm old school, and that's another reason I quit coaching. Because kids are soft, man. I don't know how these college coaches are doing it with these guys, because some of these guys are prima donna all the way through, and then they get to college, and I don't know how, like, Tom Izzo getting in your face flies with some of these guys,
Yeah, I don't know. I
But
I really don't know because I'm right there with you. Tough love is absolutely necessary. Character, I'm 100% pro character building. If you do not struggle in a controlled environment such as a team sport, if you do not get challenged, if you do not face adversity, if you do not have someone who cares about you enough to get in your ass, how are you going to deal with it when it happens in real life? And yeah, Pav, I know what I said. I mean, like, this is not fucking the Catholic Church. All right, settle down.
yeah.
Settle down. Settle down. But if you don't have that, what do you do when you start facing adversity in real life? You just gonna fucking go, where's my safe space, or what? Like, when the fucking bills come and you don't have the money? Like, what do you do, man? I don't know. Let's wrap this thing up. We've lost our way.
God.
But it's about time to end this thing. I am starving. 2 hours and 5 minutes. Brett's Wander ends Saturday at 9 o'clock. There's a link in the YouTube video. I'll try and remember to get a link in the audio. Golden Auctions, golden.co. Go find that 101 first edition, even if you just watch it till it ends. Go put a big bid on it. Do something. Brett's our guy. He's gonna find out here this weekend what it goes for. We'll have the updates for you, of course. Brett, you got anything?
That's all I got tonight, guys. It was fun.
Pav, you got anything?
The Reds are going to lose 100 games.
And that's it, friends. We're out here. Have a great night. Peace.